We've all heard the saying, if you want to succeed, you have to work hard. But we've also heard the latter to that saying, that it's actually not about working hard, it's about working smart. But what if I told you that achieving your dreams actually has nothing to do with those two concepts? That there's a way to effortlessly manifest what you want into this world. You can have the happiness, you can have the love, you can have the wealth, and you can have the health, and it all comes down to actually one simple concept. Now, before I get into that simple concept, I'm going to tell you a few things that you need to learn in order to have the strength to embrace this new concept. Now, the first thing I kind of want to talk about is the stress trap and breaking free from this survival mode that this modern world has programmed us for. But the first thing you need to understand is actually the concept of stress and why we have it. Stress is actually a fight or flight mechanism. We get put into survival mode, a lower state of frequency, when we are doing things that are out of alignment or that are challenging our current state of comfort in being. Now, our ancestors used to have to fight saber-toothed tigers, but what we actually have to fight is modern triggers of the world, right? Immediate pleasure, annoying work emails, traffic, loud noises in our quiet place. Anything can be a stress mechanism for us nowadays. But we have to shift from this survival mode consciously by disconnecting from the things that don't serve our goals, right? The one mechanism you actually need to understand is the concept of no. Your ability to cross things off your list that you think you need to do, but you actually don't need to do. That is actually adding stress to your being, adding stress to your ability to succeed and welcome in and usher in a new era for yourself. The key insight I want you to take away from this is living in a constant state of stress is like driving with the brakes on. To move forward, you need to release that tension and focus on what truly matters. As we start to let go of these old ways of being, let go of these versions of comfort that do not serve us, you are going to be faced with an uncomfortable pain of unknowing. But that's beautiful. There's something beautiful in the magic of not knowing what this life has to hold from us, which allows us to develop our confidence in our faith and our ability to welcome in a new version of ourselves, despite letting go of a version of ourselves that we thought was the answer, that we thought was the comfort. When in reality, we were just seeking these short-term pleasures that took away from our ability to manifest our goals. I remember I was $80,000 in debt with one of my e-commerce businesses. I was smoking weed every day. I was very viscerally depressed. And there came a point where I just had to detach from that identity, where I hit such a deep, dark rock bottom. I was like, I can't even believe that Grant let myself get to this place. But there was something beautiful in that acceptance, something beautiful in that act of letting go, no longer identifying with this version of stress and survival that didn't serve me. And I had to embrace the unknown. I still had $80,000 to overcome. I still had one failing business that I needed to move on from. I was overcoming different micro forms of addiction. And that's okay. That's part of the journey. God uses broken people to tell a story. You are broken so you can rise. From the ashes, the phoenix is born. Now, it's when we can embrace this unknown that we can enter a place of confidence, strengthen our faith, and start to use this newfound intention and newfound goals that we have ourselves to manifest a version of life that we want. So, it's the idea that instead of focusing on the 3D world where we have this reality we identify with, we move into the 4D world, right? The mentalism, the quantum field, that state of infinite potential that we can tap into. When I was $80,000 in debt, I knew there was something out there that would pull me out of it. I didn't know what. I had to have comfort in that unknown, but I knew that I was going to find it. And that ended up being running a creator monetization agency. So I would partner with these social media creators and I would help them monetize their followings, which ended up ushering in a new version of my identity, finding confidence in the skills that I actually developed during the darkest period of my life. I was able to pay off all the debt. I was able to build a 7-figure business, and I was able to experience the freedom that came with having wealth at a young age. I'm 25. By no means am I a multi-7-figure millionaire online guru, but I have freedom. I can be anywhere in the world. I can do anything. I have confidence knowing that I have the ability to pull myself from debt, to pull myself from those dark places. And that actually allowed me to usher in a new identity that I want to align with. Now, from this place of 4D mentalism, where we want to usher in a new version of ourselves, we need to practice visualization, we need to practice meditation. And we do this in order to align our intentions, right? Because it's your thoughts that impact your actions, that impact your behaviors, which create your state of being. So when we let go of this old version of our identity, we find this stillness in meditation and in visualization, we can start to channel and align our intentions with the version of ourselves we want to exist. And sometimes it's about being realistic. It's not about manifesting the output or the outcome. It's about manifesting the inputs and the work you do that can be effortless because of a new mindset you've adopted. I had to work to overcome that debt, but I did it in a way where I found something that was effortless to me, where I got to align with my skills, where I got to use my word, got to use my knowledge, got to use my skill to build a business with someone else that we had a perfectly harmonious relationship. Now, there's an intersection of this 3D and 4D world, and that's where I was talking about inputs, right? Because it's the new version of intention that we have that needs to be manifested in the 3D. This is the divine paradox. What are dreams if we can't bring them to this world? And how do we bring thoughts into action? We do that through our behavior, we do that through our habits, and we do that through small incremental changes, right? When I was smoking a lot of weed, I was partying, I was eating like shit. That manifested in my work also. I actually had to learn to come back down to earth, start taking care of my body, making small micro changes in my habits, in my diet, in my fitness routine, finding consistency and discipline and those things that were easy for me, which actually just programmed myself to have a deeper depth and understanding of how discipline pans out in my life and how I can apply that to my work. Because once you start to stack small wins, you start to have self-respect. When you have self-respect, you're gonna say no, which is the entirety of what I want you to pull from this video, is that it's not about your ability to say yes to things, it's about your ability to say no to things. Because if you stack things on your plate, that's like overconsumption, and your mind has too much to feed on, and you're not gonna be able to hear the things you need to hear in order to find the success. Now, your life is a reflection of your beliefs. Because if you believe that you're stuck in your old ways, that you're never gonna be able to overcome $80,000 in debt, you're never gonna be able to overcome that weed addiction, I would still be in the same place I was. But it was all because I knew that I would make it out. I wasn't judging myself for being there. I was judging myself for being there for an elongated period of time, but it became so bad that I just had to let go. And I knew that I was gonna find my way out. I found success in e-commerce, even though it failed. I knew that I've had the skills to get to the peak. I just had to figure out how to climb back to the mountain. And this is why it's about the journey, not the destination, because the journey is where we instill these small inputs, these small micro habits that allow us to ascend the mountaintop. But the thing I want you to remove from your head is that concept of outcome, that concept of wins, that concept of success. Because when you get there, you're gonna be more likely to fall back into old subconscious ways of being. I've been out of $80,000 in debt for almost a year now. My business has been running, but I still fall victim to these old subconscious programs because I think that I need to pull over and call time out and take rest and enjoy myself, this and that. But there comes a point in your journey where you just realize that there are things that make you the best version of you, and that's what needs to be prioritized. And that's why I talk about your ability to say no, your ability to let go of old friends, let go of old jobs, let go of old thought systems that just no longer serve you. And this is the power of identity. True change starts within. It starts with your ability to see a new version of yourself, even though it's hard to see. If you have just a small, faint glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel, that's all you need. And it's about slowly working your way through the tunnel, integrating parts of your shadow, integrating parts of yourself you're ashamed of in order to welcome this new version of yourself to the world. Because that new version of yourself actually embodies the darkness. It actually embodies the fact that I was $80,000 in debt, that I smoked weed, that I partied too much. I went on a 40-pound weight loss journey. But it was because I had that version of myself that I no longer wanted to identify with that I ended up here before you, that I am making this YouTube channel and hopefully contributing something to your life. And if you like these talks, go ahead, drop a subscribe. I'm just trying to be real. I think the internet is so desperate for some real connection and some authentic talks and just some realistic looks on life and real tools to change our lives for the better. And one thing I want to instill is it's about the pursuit of purpose over perfection. Success isn't about a perfect plan, it's about aligning your actions with a deeper purpose. When you connect with what fulfills you, the journey itself becomes the reward. And that's why the journey is about becoming your best self. You're in pursuit of a deeper connection with your truth, a deeper connection with this version of you exists and you want to nurture it, you want to love it, you want to bring it here. But it's not about just being your highest self. It's also about loving those lower versions of yourself that you have to let go of, letting go of them with love, and allowing those new inputs from the wisdom and experience you have to integrate into your grander purpose of the journey. And the biggest thing you're just going to need to do is detach from the how. You don't need to know every step of your goals, but you do need to trust in the process. You need to stay flexible, and you need to embrace the unknown. This is why it's all about small micro habits, because as we go on this journey, if we find small disciplines that allow us to stay aligned with our grander vision and our grander goal, the small little drops in our journey are going to be okay because we now have the tools to bounce back from them. The best opportunities arise from unexpected places, so don't be afraid to look into the corners of the room that you hide, or your shadow hides, or you're afraid to usher in this new version of yourself, because like the Maya Angelou quote goes, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We are so afraid of our potential that we hit this thing called the ceiling. We need to make the big leap past this subconsciously programmed ceiling we've given ourselves and allow ourselves to become who we know we are. And as I embark on this YouTube journey, I'm just really trying to be authentic, create videos that fit into my schedule and my needs, and not go outside of myself, and hopefully develop a deeper connection with you all. My goal is to start talking about business more, fitness more. Spirituality is a huge part of everything, but I think there is a more human and down-to-earth way that it needs to be conveyed, which is why I'm just trying to have real conversations and be honest about the fact that I was $80,000 in debt. That was not an easy period of my life. I had to get loans from my parents, from my brother, just anything to keep these credit card bills going. And I was just doing things that were not healthy from me. I was so upset and judgmentative of where I was. I would fall back into these old karmic loops just to numb that pain. But as soon as you can be comfortable with that pain and realize that that's not who you are, that's just where your habits led you. It led you down a dark road. But now you have the experience and knowledge to create wisdom. You can embark on a new journey, completely quantum leap to a new path, and walk in that direction. That's going to be one of the most liberating things. And I'm so excited for you guys to go on that journey. And if you're already on that journey, congratulations. I'm looking forward to making more videos, and I will see you in the next one. So drop a like, drop a subscribe. Peace.